Natalie, everyone knows her as Vegas,
Yeah.
is also going to be joining us for market review. She has a different edge I thought would add value to our community and market review. So I'm really excited about that. And then, all right, so today is Sunday, January 29th. Sorry about the little confusion earlier, but okay, now everything is good. We're gonna do a market review regarding all the events for this week, as well as some of the key earnings and plays that we feel are gonna make an impact for the week. And okay, Michael's gonna start it off.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay, I'm gonna do everything the same every week. Let's do the SPY monthly chart first. Okay, the technicals. See where we're at. Holding through the channel, but it looks like we're clearing here the monthly chart a little. So we're clearing here, and looks like we're gonna be testing this 410 line up here. See that? Right across. So it looks like we're gonna test this level this week. This candle is very bullish here with this the volume of breaking the average here this week. Okay, so everything looks good on the monthly chart, and we're above the 50, this green line, and we're above the 200 SMA. So it looks good. We look healthy on the monthly chart, very healthy. Okay, on that bullish up move. Okay, so let's go into the weekly. The weekly is a little bit more detailed, so I want to make sure we get it covered here. Okay, so we see it's going through the channel here, and we broke the downtrend here. So we cleared that big downtrend resistance level. The market has cleared it. Okay, so now on the 50, we've also cleared. On the weekly, we also cleared the 50-day simple moving average on the weekly. So we've cleared that too, and we closed at 405.68 there. Okay, so it looks the weekly chart also confirming now a very bullish up move. Okay, so all I just want to share now is that we're riding this uptrend now. We're riding this uptrend towards this 410 level, and if we break the 410 level, like that's going to be a very hard if we break it, the next level up would be take us to about 418, let's say, call it conservative. Could be 420, but 418, let's call it. Okay, and then if FOMC is bad this week, Jay Powell's hawkish, saying like, look, the interest rates like it's just too strong. We don't want inflation to come back. He sounds hawkish. Earnings for Google, Apple, we'll talk about the earnings later, is bearish. Let's say they don't do well. Well, this downtrend will break. This downtrend will break, and it'll break. So it'll probably get back under 392, 390 area is where it looks like on the chart here. You see the support here on the chart is about 389, 390. Okay, so that's about the range. It's a big range for this week because there's so much uncertainty, so much news coming out. The volatility is going to increase. Okay, right. So let's go into the daily chart here. Daily chart gives us all the more detailed price action here. So I want to draw this. Every technician must be able to draw this downtrend here on this chart. So we broke it. Okay, so we've cleared it around 397. Okay, and then I'm gonna zoom in here. Get you guys the top line here, which is about 410, right? We talked about this level. It's a very big level on this chart. And so why is it important? Guess what? If we're trading the S&P 500 and it's at 409.80 or 409.70 or 409.40, we could get calls for 410 or 411 because if we bet that it breaks, it's going to be a big breakout. So you want to be there to make that bet, okay? So here we go. That's the level. We've broken through it, and we're above the 200, which is the blue line, and we're above the 50 SMA, which is the green line. So we're really healthy here. And plus, all this volume here is confirming the up move. It's confirmation. It's all buyers here. Okay. So, and then I just want to talk about the top here, 420. If we clear 410, it looks like 420 is in the cards here. If we get a bullish Wednesday, bullish, dovish, Jay Powell. Okay. And then on the downside, back down back down to 390. Okay, so that's where it looks like. My guess is Wednesday, Jay Powell is going to sound really hawkish. The market's going to be red that day. That's what I think. But by the end of the week, I think the market's going to be trading around 410 again. Okay, it's just the earnings are really strong and the sentiment has changed. Okay.
So,
So
let me share the same areas and why I agree with Michael, right? But I'm going to show you some numbers that show exactly why. Okay, so if you look at the options, right, for this week, this is January 30th, okay? And it's showing like long buildup all the way into 412, 413. And it starts shorting starting from the what? This is into Monday. 412, 413, right? That's exactly where Michael had his resistance at, like about 410, 411, right? And then look at the bottom. The downside, he said what, 390? But right to about 392 is where the long buildup is until. So I'm agreeing completely with him on that. And if you go to, so you know, I trade everything on Fibonacci, and so okay, so minus this line, do you want to see where this 398? Okay, so here I did this chart for Bethany yesterday, but so if you go to these white areas, which is here, I'm gonna erase this one so that you can kind of like see it better. Delete. Oops, not duplicate. Sorry, delete. Move. Okay. So do you see this like 362, 390, 407, 421, 435? So these are all based off a 29-point estimate drop from last year. So last year I was thinking, okay, 29 points down times 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I started it from the 362, and then I got the retracement from the top of the market, right? Which is why I've been targeting the 390, 407. Then the next area that we're looking for is possibly 421, right? But then if you take it from here into the recent drop, we're going to get the same levels that we see actually like from the bottom of the drop. Oops. Okay. Bottom. Okay. Hold on. We're going to see the bottom of this drop. Drawing. If you bring it to the top, right? So what was that drawn just now? 414. So from this area, 348, 414. Actually, I did it to 348, 414. If you get these areas, it's pretty much going to be from into the, what's it, FOMC date, 414. And then it starts going all the way up into like 318, 320, right? 320. No, 420, 420, right? 421. That highest one into FOMC. So I'm trying to, or if he's hawkish, we're seeing it all the way go down, almost back to where it was before FOMC, right? I mean, before CPI data last quarter, which is into this area. This area right here. Because this is when it jumped last time on CPI data, right? And this was on FOMC last time. So here was CPI data up, FOMC data down, but it's not because of FOMC really. It was just priced up too high for earnings before earnings started. Then we're going back into earnings with positive Netflix and Tesla. But then if we're here too soon before Apple earnings, then there has to be a pullback, right? And then we climb back up like this. So we just have to stay above this trend line. And I'm saying above 390, exactly like Michael. So just giving you double confirmation. And it also shows that on the options chain. So going into this week, 7 points into Wednesday, that's FOMC. But then you can actually use the full week's move, which is 10 points. So if you get 10 points from here, where do we get? 415 to either 395, or you could use the 7 points. And that'll take you like 7 points from here, 415 again. And this is the next fib retracement off the top at about 50% retracement from the top of the market this year or last year. Go ahead.
Okay. Right. Okay. So should I? Did you want me to talk about FOMC at all, or no? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. Let's do the economic calendar really quick, okay? So next week is okay. Nothing scheduled for Monday, January 31st. Nothing too important here. Okay, all the data is gonna be. It's not gonna move the market. So I'm gonna okay. Wednesday is the key date, which is FOMC. Okay, so that's 2 o'clock Eastern is when Jay Powell is when they will issue the rate. Okay, it's widely expected that it's gonna be. This is from the CME. Okay, this is the probability tool here. It's widely expected on February 1st. It's going to be 25 basis points. So that's widely known to be that number. It's not going to be any different than this. Okay, it's not 100% almost. Okay, and then in March, it's going to be another 25 basis points. Okay, so as of right now, they're going to do another, and then it gets to, it's about 5% then, and then it gets flat for the rest of the year and then down. Okay, so that's what it looks like right here. Nothing has changed here, so it's not new to everyone. And then Thursday, nothing important here. Friday, the unemployment rate for January. So that number is going to come in critical. That's okay. So Friday's going to be really important. The unemployment rate. So is that good? Okay, and that's all. That's all for the U.S. economic calendar.
Okay, so the rate's going to affect though February 1st, right?
Yeah.
So if you go back to like what 2018 and 2019, how it unfolded with the rates lifting off from that Forbes article, you can see how the market started climbing up, but then there's always a day of a dip, the day that the rates take into effect, because now it's like boom, right? The rates just got higher. So you have to keep that in mind. So I would say going into the first, think about going to puts like 395. I know that sounds a little low. 402 to 395, and then going into Meta earnings, which I believe is going to be bullish, will take it to like 165. But that's how I'm like thinking. What about you? I'm actually planning to trade it into puts into the first for the mega caps, but that doesn't mean I'm going bearish for like growth and small caps, because you see BTC ripping, right?
I mean, okay, so it's okay, so it's better the whole discussion. Okay, so we have FOMC on Wednesday, okay? But the whole discussion is the market could be chopping. This is the hourly chart on the S&P 500, okay? So the market could be trading, I think, within a range until that date. And I think it stays above this 400 level, which is key for the market, right? There's a support level at 403. So let's get that line in there. 403, because when it broke out the other day, when it broke out of 403, the market ripped. So we know 403 is a critical line, and 408 is a big one. Okay.
Okay. So how are you going to trade it?
Okay, so it's easy. Market opens. If any of those levels break down, I'll scalp it. If it breaks out, I'll get calls through it. I always alert it in the community what I'm getting into and scalping. So you can see it in my screen which levels I have here. So you can see it, okay? But and that's all. I'm not swinging anything overnight on Monday and Tuesday. It's too risky.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just go over what I'm going over this week then. Let's go over really quick what's earnings for this week, and then we'll talk about what my favorite plays are or what Michael's favorite plays are, and then just go over this real quick. So you could see, overall, the big money order flow is finally back to normal. This is how it used to be. Always in the 6 to 9 billion for Tesla when it's bullish. Overall SPY at like 3 to 6 billion. Apple is not there yet. So you can see Apple, Amazon, these, and Nvidia, they're still small, 2-3 billion, right? This is still small, and that's because these are heavily affected by FOMC. Tesla was really oversold. Meta, really oversold, right? Google, like these mega caps that trade on a forward PE, right? Like if you look at this, the PE ratio, these are the ones that are really heavily affected by the rate decision. But the ones that aren't are companies like Mara, right? Or something like that. They're not traded on a PE ratio, like there's nothing, right? So these are the ones that have opportunity going to FOMC, the oversold or the growth companies that like didn't have a chance to even move yet. So I'm going to show you like kind of like where it is at the moment. Like, do you see how like they've been kind of like, okay, they kind of pulled back while all the mega caps were going, right? Like these ones here, UPST is actually a really good one. It's going to break out soon. That one I'm heading into 22, by the way, for earnings. Like the China sector, like especially EVs, like it looks like it's just itching to like break out. Mara took a big dip, but BTC had a big rip over the weekend. So I think this is a great opportunity. If, you know, we all added in our community. So hopefully, you know, you're still swinging some if you had it from before. Lucid, look, this is my earnings line. It went to exactly my line. So how I trade is on fibs, and it's all based on quarterly ranges. But then this is just a major support line, right? Like you could totally tell that, hey, once it gets here, you're going to see some resistance. So this is a heavy line it needs to break, right? It has to break over this volume, this volume, this volume, and all of this volume to break out above here. So it might take a little while to break out over here. But then I still think swinging into this is a great idea. SoFi has earnings tomorrow. Okay, so SoFi, look, SoFi earnings. So we can go over the calendar of the earnings. Actually, one more thing I have to look at. We want to look at the order imbalance. So I go usually to the last 20 days. So you can see 1 year overall. This is the market outflow, inflow, outflow, inflow, right? So this was the market bottom here. This area right here, this crossover was when the SPY hit 348, right? And then ever since then, market's been going up. And then now that it's high, it's kind of like pulling back a little bit. So once we get, if it gets really close to here again, that's kind of like, oh shoot, right? Like it starts selling off. So this is something, it's a week, you have to be really careful. Like we really have to be careful because if it starts doing this and we're all still holding long without scaling out, then it's going to be very risky. So just be cautious. I'll check the SPY range for that. And then we'll go over calendar really quick. Which days is what? Okay, so I want to focus on NXPI on Monday. I really like NXPI and then SoFi, right? This is semiconductor. It's been really strong. Whirlpool discretionary is like really strong. They need semiconductors, by the way, to make their products. And then SoFi here. These three are my favorite. Like SoFi has a big move coming. If I miss something that you guys see, NXPI, semiconductor. So I'm going to give the targets at the end. But here, we're just going over it really quick. On Tuesday, there's XOM, CVS, Chevron already spiked up, right? But I feel like it's going to pull back because now everything's priced in together. UPS, so discretionary has been strong still. So if they're reporting quarter four, I think this is going to do well because like UPS, bull call spread, long call, bull put spread, everything's bullish. 185, 190. If you know earnings on UPS, they always go into like, they go up anywhere like 10 to 20 points. So I like the 120s going into next week. Like, I mean, sorry, not 120s, 190s going into next week. So I'm going to keep watch for UPS. And then I don't like trading like too much of these stuff. EA actually is really good. This is gaming, Electronic Arts, EA. PXS. This is actually a really good oil company, PSX, Phillips 66. Oh, snap. Snap. I forgot about Snap. We have to play Snap and Spot. These two move a lot. It does. Oh shoot! Look, 19%. That's huge. Okay, so Snap. I think this is a really fun one to trade because like bull call spread again, bull fit spread, long call. Everything at this point, right, is trading on almost like a 0 PE, like nothing. It's so oversold at this point at $10 when it used to be like $80, $90 at the high. So I think this is a really good one to look at for, what was this, like Wednesday? And Snap, okay. 14. Let's look at Snap. This is like such a prime setup because Meta, right, and all of those other ones, so oversold. $15, $16. Could go up to $16. 16, right? Okay, so 16, Snap. This could pop. Okay, this is expecting only a $2, $3 move though. That's weird. $2, $3. 1, 2, 23. 50 delta. Look, the 50 is already here, so 1, 2, 16. This is low risk, right? And you could get even like 13. So if it moves what it's supposed to go, you can small risk, right? 44 cents, and you have a chance to multiply by 3. Like $13. But instead of getting this one, you could get like the monthly or something if you want and carry it on, continuation. But I would aim for 13, going into either 12 to 13, like 12.50 to 13. And you could just base it on the expected move and realize, hey, this on that jump, it should go this way, right? And if you look at this chart, not this one, this chart, you can see it's just been kind of like every time it goes like into this area, right? So what day is Snap on again? It's on
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
After hours.
Okay, after hours. This is before FOMC, right? So if it's before FOMC, then I think this is a good one to play before all these like mega cap earnings, and they're expecting higher revenue and positive EPS. Remember, Snap makes money on advertising revenue, right? But look, they improved last quarter. They were stable in revenue, but finally this quarter they're expecting bigger revenue, and already the estimate is at positive EPS. So going forward, like this is one of the biggest jumps, right? Like that's pretty significant at this point for like 0.11. So this is around relative, right? This is around relative, right? So okay. So we could like that's where it was, but that doesn't mean it's going to 35 overnight. It just means that we can bet to the upside. So I would go for Snap for sure. This is like such a give me. Then we have all the big ones that matter, that really, really matter, right? So Meta is not the first, right? So here I like Meta, but I want to trade Meta on the 31st or the 1st. I like on my small account, on my big account, I'm just swinging it like shares leaps. If we see a pullback into the next 2 days, let's add this. But remember I gave the target last week, right? 165. I think that's going to be the biggest mover. So Apple is on what? This is on the rates going into effect. And then this is aftermarket, right? These are going to be moving a lot. Apple, Google, Amazon. So at this point, they're about like similar price to earnings right now as they were like in that recent chart. Okay, so that 23 PE. Google is at what? Google is at about like 19 PE, right? Google, yeah, 19 PE. And then Amazon's at like 60, I think. Okay, that actually jumped. It jumped again. This one jumps so fast. So, this is the thing. This has too high. It's trading a little bit high. So I'm almost thinking we can do a strangle on Amazon, and then we could go long calls on Google. Google, I feel like will move more this time than Amazon. Even here, it's just showing that. And if you guys traded Google and Amazon earnings before, long time ago, these used to jump like $100 to $200 every single time, right? Maybe 200. If you look at how much Tesla moved, it actually moved about 300 points. So if it's oversold, so I feel like Google this time has that big jump potential, which is going into like probably like 105, 113. Same areas for Amazon, but then Amazon could be a hit or miss, is what I'm saying. Versus like Apple. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go for more Google this time versus Amazon. And then unless Powell has a really dovish sentiment, then we could go a little heavier into Amazon.
I have a target for 106 for Google, like 106
Yeah.
plus. Like,
do you want to show why?
Yeah, of course, sure. I'll do it. Like, there's my line for Google. It makes perfect sense that if like Google will blast through resistance here and hit 106 plus the 200 days right there, it's gonna get tested. Like, and look at this support line. Look at this resistance line. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, it's huge. This Google line. So don't get me wrong.
That's a great area.
So if Google breaks if Google is going to be a good proxy, it's going to be one of the proxies. Meta, if it breaks this 200-day simple moving average, and Apple as well this week, the whole market just breaks that it's going straight up. The whole market just goes straight up, right? So that's why I have for Google. Okay, and then Apple. Look at Apple's chart. Apple's chart is even better. Like, Apple is about to test its 200 here, and if it crosses through this consolidation, I would say above let's say if it prints 151 next week, this is blasting towards 156 is what I'm thinking. Okay, so Apple could be really bullish, and we could that's all I'm saying.
Hold on, let me check your area with the option chain. Okay, so Michael's targeting 151, right? Okay, so let's check 151.
I think it's actually 156. I think Apple's going to make a big move this week.
So this is like 150. I mean, that's just like an obvious area because it's like in between the 25 delta, right? So that's usually 25 deltas with the expected move. So if people are just betting heavy into that 150, 152 area, and that makes sense. We gave also this target a couple of weeks ago, but if you want, you could trade into this area for FOMC 150 to 152.50. The more it dips, the more you want to buy, right? So here, let's see, 152. And we could see some of this 152. Okay, this is a short chart. So I'm going to have to look at the 150 because this one doesn't have too much of a history. Okay, February 3rd is a short month. No wonder. They just added it. I mean, clearly bullish here too. 484. So this has the potential like to double. Okay, so that's going to double there. Apple has the most open interest though into those areas, like on multiple different expiries. Right? There, as well as the short term. Short term, put protection here. And so is the IV. IV is right here, right? 152.50. So that's a great spot for Apple this week. Google, what were we saying? 106, right?
Yeah.
Google 106. Okay, so Google 106. Again, almost perfect area, 25 delta. And then this one, I mean, clearly the open interest is on the call side, and this is very just like slightly hedged. I think it's just going to be short term because they're expecting possible downside because of FOMC. But really, the bet is like long, right? See it in the weekly. Oh my God. See even more confirmation monthly. And let's see the put to call ratio. Yeah, this is going like half. Oh my God. Like, so put to call ratio, PC ratio, 0.6. the closer it is to 1, the more equal it is from the puts to calls. But this is clearly in the call side. So this is the sentiment of the market is completely turned bullish compared to even just 1 week ago. It wasn't this low. Last week it was like 0.8. Okay, Michael?
Yeah. Okay. So so the Apple chart, see this downtrend here? Okay, it's tested here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And I would argue that on Friday we tried to break this downtrend and we have not. So okay, so I think that in the next couple of days, if we do break this line, then that's 150, 51, and then all the way to 155. That's all. Like I already, okay, that's all I have to say for Apple. Like Apple's bullish, right?
Okay.
If Apple, yeah,
So what day is Google? Google is
all
on...
on the same day on Thursday after
Right.
hours.
Wow, that's going to be tricky. Okay, and then after
We're
that...
all gonna go at the same time.
Friday. Yeah, so those are like, that's pretty much all of it, right? If those start running, like the whole market should go to 418. That's my target, 418 for this week. If Powell is positive on FOMC with 25 confirmed, and then going to 0. So you have to keep in mind there's 8 FOMC meetings this year, right? 8. Do you have the calendar with you? Okay, FOMC calendar this year. No?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, I have it. I just have a different calendar than you guys. I just
Okay, no
use this
problem.
tool. Okay, so it's a little bit different.
Okay.
It's just a little bit different. The calendar's here.
Yeah,
March
that's fine.
22nd, May 3rd,
March.
June 14th, June 26th. That's the
Okay,
calendar.
so see March, right? March is portfolio repositioning and tax season. May is going to be quarter 1, right? And you know, if you go to here, NASDAQ, I'm going to show you something really quick. So here, Meta, quarter 4 is expecting better. Quarter 1 is expecting worse, just so you guys know. Where's Meta? Meta platforms. Is this it? Yeah. So if you go to NASDAQ, right, this is free. Everybody can use this for free. And go to earnings, right? And then we want to see quarter over quarter. Like going into quarter 4, majority of companies are bullish, by the way, right? Compared to last quarter. So like this is earnings per share. We need EPS higher. Revenue will be naturally higher because of inflation. But can they sustain their margins is what most people thought wasn't possible. But they can, right? Like you've been seeing it in several different companies. So if you look at this, then you're like, okay, earnings per quarter, like earnings per share per quarter, right? EPS consensus, whatever, this and that. And then you go into next year, December, then next quarter, look, it's expected to go down, right? The quarter after that, then it starts climbing back up. It's like Meta is a little bit choppy here, but then it has a strong next year. So if we're going to be trading earnings for this quarter and you want to layer out, go for these higher jumps. Go for the, short term this quarter, then this quarter when it jumps. So June actually reports in September. What, by the way, that's going to be reported in September. September reports in October. So December reports where? February, March, right? So you want something with continuation that doesn't have that dip. Okay, so this one also has a dip, right? So now we're prepared. Looking at Michael's chart of when the Fed meetings are going into March, like, do we want to keep holding our long? No, right? Yes, no. Like, we'll see. Look at Amazon. They're expecting lower EPS, right? Oh, shoot. I didn't look at that one. Let's look at Amazon. Like, they're expecting lower EPS, but it doesn't matter because this is such a big jump. Such a big jump that it's going to wipe this out. It doesn't even matter. I don't think it'll matter. As long as the revenue just like goes way above it. But then look into the next year. You know, last year, look what happened. Last year it was going down, and finally starting from June, which reports in October, which was the market bottom, right? Or September-ish was the market bottom, and then September was into October, and then from here was when it started going up. This is quarter 2, by the way. Quarter 2, quarter 3, then quarter 4 right here, right? So 20 cents, then 15, then it starts keep climbing. So we're not going into a recession, by the way. If Amazon represents everybody shopping and they're expecting higher and higher every single quarter, and this is supposed to be the worst quarter for this year after this quarter, right? So, okay, so if Google gets money off of people that like sell on Amazon or retail sector, because how is Google going to make money from advertising, right? And if travel has been doing well, then Google should do really well. And look, this one, lowest was last quarter, right? September, 106. But then look where they're forecasting. Next quarter, 117. Okay, here's their weaker quarter, right? So they're very stable actually. So this is pretty stable. Quarter 1 again. So expect possible dip in March, you know? Look, March, rates go into effect. Again, March, rates go into effect. So we go long, swing up, and then it's going to start pulling back, I'm saying, in like February, March, right? And then we really load heavy here. Really load heavy, and we just go long up forever. That's what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to show everyone this. So we're okay. Like I agree with Esther completely, but the GDP for 2023 is forecasted to slow down from 2% right now to 0.2% at the end of 2023. So as of Q1, Q2, Q3, like it is going to be declining down. That means the consumer spending should be dropping as their debt is rising with inflation, with the interest rate, right? So that's just something to, and then it's going to rebound at 1.4. Okay, and then this is the conference board from the United States, and then they talk about hawkish, Jay Powell with interest rates, but that's the expected forecast for the economy. Okay, so I agree with Esther. The market goes up all the way to March probably, and just probably sells off because now it's pricing in probably either a soft landing or a hard landing. Okay, so I agree. Is that fair?
Hey, okay, so when is AMD? AMD is on the 31st, by the way, right? That's on Tuesday. So are you interested in
Yeah,
looking at,
AMD is
figure out
good.
where AMD is going, yeah? Okay, so AMD,
AMD is
look,
extreme
67 EPS, right? But so AMD is great because they do production for Tesla Model 3 and Model Y. Tesla just had earnings, right? And they did pretty phenomenal with their delivery numbers as well. So last quarter, they were here in like the 50, 60, 70 area. Okay, they're beating out last quarter already in price, but that was based on, okay, we're going into possible 50 basis point hike or whatever. And then last quarter before that, they were at around almost the same. Look, they weren't able to move. So they haven't been moving up or down, right? Neither. Like it went down actually like 10 points, but we're already past this. So now we're going back into like quarter 2, and it's a huge jump, right? This area is actually where it was. Okay, AMD. Yeah, I think we could just aim for here, right? If you want to do something safe, I would just go for here. Like we could just swing. See these lines, right? It looks like it's catching up back to this growth rate. And then in between here, so you can see when it is bullish, right? It's a pretty significant jump. So if we get the measure of this candle, right? Here, we're going to duplicate this, duplicate oval, and then bring this over to here, right? to where it is. Yeah, activate. I'm gonna make it match. This is actually very, very possible. Or do we make it match here? Here? No. Here? It doesn't make sense. Here?
I have for my chart, I have AMD about 80, and then if it breaks 80, I can see it going to 84. That's where I have it. Okay, so that's where I have my chart. This is what it looks like. It's gonna test the 200, I think, with everything. If the market closes strong by the end of Friday, AMD is gonna be closing this gap here, right there.
84?
Yeah, that's what I have. 84.
Look at my line.
So that's what I have.
84. Do you see this? Like Michael and I, we look at it completely different ways, and then we have the same thing. That's what I'm like, bingo.
And I add some
Are you
probability
so
into it.
excited? Huh?
Yeah, I have some probability into it. I mean, if
84. Okay, so let's say it goes down, right? 6 points. Then where is it going? 69? Oh, shoot. Okay, just kidding. That's not funny. Okay, so
yeah,
it goes
but
up.
no. But if the market, it's completely possible the market sells off really badly today because the SPY could
Yeah.
easily break its downtrend, right? We drew the uptrend
Right.
earlier, and it's possible that the market bleeds this whole week. So yeah, it's possible. It's not like we're all bullish. It's like, remember, Microsoft had bad earnings, but the next day it recovered. Microsoft had really bad earnings and guidance. It recovered completely. So any of these big, large caps could have bad earnings, but I see a big recovery. Like, why wouldn't Apple recover just like
Okay.
Microsoft?
Do you see this? 83? Okay. So here's the smallest implied volatility, 3 gamma. I match it to 3 gamma, right? And then look at the expected move, 6 points, right? 6 points down is actually the 69, which is the expected move. But then also 6 points up is like what? Like 81, 82, right? It's 81, 82 on the call side. But then on the put side, this is where the strength of the gamma is. So then I'm going to like check, okay, here's that too, the same area. So that makes sense. You can bet as high as 83 if you go short term. But then you don't want to buy high implied volatility. If it does go up, you know it's going to confirm and keep going. So if you want to give yourself a little bit more cushion, then you could go as high as 85 for the monthlies. Look, high open interest here, right? But then you could definitely just like wait to see where it's going to go. Like, let's see where the interest is. Are people even like selling this? Like, no, open interest is just like spiking, continuing. But this is a pullback. So we could get something really cheap, set ourselves up and start building into this position and then carry it out all the way up and then see if this will continue. So go to NASDAQ again and see, okay, will this continue, right? So we're going to check, does the continuation happen? If you don't have NVIDIA, but you want to get into semiconductor in your portfolio, right? Okay, this is somewhat stable, right? 54 cents, okay, 52 cents. So even if it goes down a little bit, as long as they stay above for revenue. So this is a little bit tricky now because it's a little bit high here. So this one possibly could be priced in. Okay, this is actually possibly, look, it's right in this area. So if you trade AMD, I would actually swing it further because it could be priced in, is what I'm thinking. Yeah. Or you could lotto it, but I prefer a little bit longer time on this. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's all I was gonna.
Okay.
There's-
Natalie, does she have anything that she wanted to add and comment? I remember Natalie wanted to talk about.
Is she available? Let's see if she's available.
No?
Nat, are you around? Let's see.
No, she just removed herself. Okay, so I think that's about it. Hold on. Actually, no. Bitcoin, right? Where is Bitcoin at? So hold on. BTC. Oh, she's back. Okay. So hold on. Does she want to speak?
Is she on the
Is she
stream?
on? Hold on. Let me add her. Hi, Natalie.
Yes.
Are you
Hi
there?
guys. Yeah, I'm
Oh.
here.
Okay, so
Okay,
did you
let's
want
see.
to?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. So I like everything you guys talked about. So I just want to comment on just a couple stocks just to keep a watch on because we know as Tesla had the earnings, and so definitely one to watch for continuation. We know we have some economical events, so definitely gonna be watching Tesla if it breaks over 180. First, these are swing levels. So if it breaks 180, then calls will be in play. Monthlies, like nothing, not a weekly, like gotta go monthly. And watching Nvidia for the continuation because that one's also like really really strong over 205 for a monthly call. And I'm watching just wanted to mention DraftKings it has a new uptrend on the weekly chart. So whenever I see like new uptrends, like last week I was watching Nvidia and Tesla were two new uptrends, regardless of the earnings. Well, the earnings was nice, but like the chart alone was just signaling a new uptrend. So DraftKings and Robinhood, I haven't traded those in a while. So those are going to be like my top two watches this week for a move to the upside because they're both showing a lot of strength. And I'm just wondering with Robinhood in particular, because of the strength in the Bitcoin sector, you might see Robinhood actually popping along with Riot and Mara because Bitcoin's been really strong this weekend. So we should definitely be watching, obviously, the crypto stocks. But like right now, Bitcoin's at 23,855, so it's very strong actually. So definitely watching Robinhood and DraftKings for uptrends. So this could be some really good option swings later this week. So if anything comes up, I'll mention in your community. But just wanted to give everyone a heads up that those are like my top two watches though are going to be DraftKings and Robinhood because they're just the charts signaling that a nice move is coming. So we'll see how those play out, and I'll mention if the trade goes in. I'll mention to your community. So thank you
Okay,
for
so
letting me come
DKNG.
by. Yeah, GKNG. Yeah, what are
Yeah,
your
this
thoughts
is
on
a
it?
good one. I just charted it while you were talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so see this? I just did the Fibonacci retracement. That's a great one. The $2 see these expected moves. So here I'm gonna compare it. $2.50, right? Compared to now, it's actually like $2 and like this area carries into this area, right? 16.16. Then you get into $3, it gets where? Right into the $17, right? Then you go into, so if you want to aim for 17, then you know that you're gonna have to wait until about like March. So it depends how long you want to carry this up, but it's showing the highest implied volatility for February 17th. So this must be the week of earnings, right? February 17th.
Yeah,
So
you know what? They have earnings on Feb 16.
yeah. So this is the
So
week of earnings. Just look for the highest implied volatility. So this 250 actually matches up with my fib, and you could just aim for that for here, right? So you can either trade into it for the February 17th for $17, and this has a 0.30 delta or 0.25 delta for here. It's only 40 cents. So that's the play I would go for. February 17th for the 17 to 1750. If you could just build this position or target like 20 going into the stronger earnings quarter for when do you think sports season is really hot? Quarter two, right? Or end of the year. So just go straight for the long into the 20 area, right? And just hold. Look, if it continues and moves 5 points, then this is a cushion, like safe, easy 2 to 3x swing for August. So you can either go for the short term and you could triple, or you could go for the swing and you could like 2 to 3x for the 20 strike. And it all matches into these Fibonacci lines with the expected move for the options chain. And it's relatively oversold. Like you saw where the high was, right? So now that's how you can plan the long. Like just go for here, and then I'll give all the codes for DKNG in the room. You could just like use it. NVIDIA? You said NVIDIA, right?
yeah, I just watch NVIDIA, because it has a lot of power still. So if it gets over 205, what are your thoughts on that one?
So I was thinking 224 because 205 was this quarter's earnings, right? But then 224 is going to be like a major fib zone for me. And that was actually going into March earnings. They have late February into March earnings. So you can see also highest implied volatility end of February, which is their earnings, right? So the 26th, this is their earnings week, right? February 24th. So we can just target, okay, does it pull back or do we get our 225 target? So I would think it's into the 225 and it's also confirming with the delta for expected move, 26 points. But if it pulls back like this week's expected move a little bit and then it starts rallying, so then I think, okay, 10 points minus first, or does it rally on AMD? So, or does it just hold and we add like a little cushion, like 20, 25 points? So that 26 points with a maybe it doesn't do anything this week because it's rallied so much. If it did, but actually I'm up 205 was this week's target. So I'm kind of like thinking that there might be a pullback, which it did a little bit. So I'm expecting a pullback to like 190, was it 196, 198, and then do another 26-point rally into earnings. But I do swings. I know you're looking at the short-term momentum. So
yeah, no, NVIDIA, like for me would be like March contracts, like so
Okay.
nothing. But the thing is, because the earnings is coming, so maybe like whoever had those would have to close out if they were in February monthlies. So, but I'm really looking at March contracts. I'm really liking NVIDIA a lot.
I think up to here, this month, the 235 is a great area for March. 235. This has the highest open interest. And it's actually going to pass that. It's going to go all the way possibly into, you could go as high as 250. 250. You
In
could
March?
swing. Yes,
Yeah.
you could
Okay.
swing 235 to 250. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean that 250 is going to hit, but the 250 will also increase. So if you want like a lower price, just swing easy with low risk first. And then as it builds momentum, like bring it closer strike. So you get higher delta. The 235 has the highest open interest. But you can also make a profit in the 250 is what I'm saying.
Can you
Like
just do one?
235.
Can you do one last one?
Yeah.
Can you look at Microsoft, because the earnings is done and we had some money flow come through on Microsoft. So if it gets over 250, a pretty nice, cute little move there. I'm thinking like $10 or $12 on Microsoft. But again, the earnings is done. So what are you seeing on that one?
For the
And,
short term?
and that's my last one. No, for March expiry as well on Microsoft.
Okay. This one, it's kind of like they're doing like a butterfly on this right now. Like they're kind of like unknown. Hold on, let me look at the chart. So Microsoft has to either jump. So this is gonna jump with Apple. Basically, it's like all the mega caps right now, they ran. See this? Right? This line? We're at the top of the channel now, and FOMC is like the determining factor, like yes or no. Like boom, yes, Meta, Apple, Amazon, Google all jump to this next channel. So that's just gonna be a huge indicator. Like I'm actually scaled out a lot of like all the mega cap short term until FOMC. I think more of my focus is on like MSTR, Mara, some of the small caps going into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So like 267.50. So Microsoft, yeah, I like if it goes up, it's definitely like it has potential to continuing to climb, but if it does, I think it's gonna go into like two March. Two, 19 points. Wow, that's a lot. 19 points from here. 270, right? March. Okay, that makes sense. Look, March. This is March, right? Mid-March, 270, 274. But that's saying it's like around here. And then that's the expected move. That makes sense. 270 here. you could swing this one. Highest open interest also, right? March, that one, 270. You can target as high as there. As the peak. Like if it starts running, you're like, oh my God, how high can I go? Right? So kind of like Tesla, like, oh my God, how high can I go? 180. So this one, okay, so Tesla continuation. This one too. If it continues, let's aim for 187.50. Remember I talked about this? Once it hits that 180, we go for 187.50, then watch for a pullback. But then I saw huge order flow on this. Are you guys all still in Tesla?
No, I don't have Tesla stock, and I don't have any current options right now.
I got rid of a lot of it on my small accounts. So like I'm almost all of it cash, like majority of it. And we can go towards, if you want to go short term, yeah, a lot of people scaled out. A lot of people, like so many people just got out because nobody knows what's going to, like FOMC, okay, here, 38,000, 32,000 volume. Yeah, this is like half the volume. It's like went out 190. But if you look at last quarter, like it went into the 200s, like 210, right? So we could just aim for this area for like March. And we're talking about that 220, right? For March. So you could go for 220 for March next. Here, 220. And it's only $6. So if you want to just like swing with like a little cushion into the 220 to 225, that's the one I would looking to build. And like 40 points from here would be like about 220, 218, 215. So if you want like a safer swing, just look into the 220 area, and this has exactly like a 25 delta. If you want to carry on Tesla with a shorter swing, yeah. Oh, SoFi. We didn't talk about SoFi. SoFi could be fun. It's tomorrow. This one is just going to be hit or miss. I believe, this is going to also make UPST go. Right? Look at UPST. It's about to pop. Last time it went to 22. And this is what happened on FOMC. Boom, it went down to 12, 13, and went right back to 22 the next day. Like my 11-cent options went to like $1.50 or something like that. I forgot. But anyways, it became green and it was just like so crazy. And then it pulled back and then we're almost retracing back to the same area. So if you don't have this one, look at where UPST used to be, $400. And it's only at $19, right? So people that think, oh my God, all these like small float, whatever stocks, like when it went up too much. No. It went down too much. Does that make sense? It's way oversold. Like way oversold. So these are the ones I focus on at FOMC right now, going into next year. Like AI, oversold, cloud sector, and software into FOMC when they have rates. So going into March also, same thing. Oversold. These have way bigger growth potential. You can like multiply by 10. Mara.
Well, that's really great. I love the commentary and I love the spiderweb chart. I mean, I call it spiderweb, but I don't know what you call it, but that's a spiderweb. I love it. You're Spider Woman and Wonder Woman with these swings, just crushing.
No, your calls are
fabulous.
great too. And Michael's like direction, I think it's such a great vibe we all have together. So I'm so lucky to be trading with people here. Okay. So any comments, any questions, anything we missed? What is MSTR target this week? Okay, Bitcoin just jumped again. It didn't jump as much as last quarter, right? I mean, last week. So last week on that, what did it go? It went from like, we went down to how much? Last week, 2 points. Here, now we know the weekly range. 230, no. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Okay, so we have to look at the weekly range. It went from 232 to 262, 30 points, right? Then what is this? The week before that, 202 to where? 232. So 30 points a week now, right? Like, hey, we got to average. So where do you think it's going to go? Up 30 points or down 30 points? Does that make sense? Right? Based on where's BTC going? So now you could just think, okay, 30 points a week, 30 points a week, as long as BTC goes into the way I'm betting on. So if it goes, okay, so let's see what it's been doing for the past month. 5 days, it jumped not 3,000 points like we did the past like other times. Like this weekend, it did 3,000 points, right? From here to here, 3,000 points, 16, 19. Then 19 to 23 was 30 points. So we need Bitcoin to get to 25,000 for MSTR to go to 30 points up. So you can't ask me, you have to ask people that make Bitcoin move. Does that make sense? You could say like, hey, where's MSTR going? I would ask you, hey, where do you think Bitcoin's going? But that's the range I would look at, is that 30-point average. Oh, hey, what do you know? 30-point expected move. Does that make sense? So if Bitcoin goes down, where are we going? Back to 230. If it goes up, we're going to 290. Okay? Does that help? I just looked at 3 simple things. Expected move, the average weekly range, right? The average weekly range. And then where's BTC and how much it moved relative to how much it moved. Okay. Does that help? Are we good now? That was an hour. I think that's a pretty good review. And if you guys have any questions, leave some comments. MSTR. Okay, good information. Do you have chart for space? Let me post some stuff for space in the review's getting a little bit long, but I'll just post the chart for space real quick. Last question. So here's space. So space will go because it's Richard Branson. He loves Elon Musk, they're friends, right? And then this will be impacted by growth, and it's part of the growth companies. So we want to see this into, like, see these major key areas. We're finally starting to break out of that. And then, so, okay, so it's like 6 points, 6 points. We need, okay, so here, now we're going to get the near-term range. I'll add a drawing. Okay, so here was like that major resistance, and here's a new support. So 630 to 725 to 8, right? So considering here, it's like about 2 to 3 point move. So same thing, just go to the options chain and 2 to 3 point move. Where is it showing that? Do we see that for earnings, right? And it's showing that here, 115, 116. So I look for the dip, then I look for the rip. So here, it's actually here, March 10th. So March 10th, let's see, is that the earnings date? March 10th? I don't know when the earnings date is. Where's my thing? Okay, anyways, besides that, 2 points, right? 2 points there. 2 points. 2 points from here is like 770, about, or almost 2.725 for March. So this is going to be a little bit of a time frame for the swing. So space might take a little bit longer, is what I'm saying, for it to like really break out. It's ready to, but it has to push through this volume and this volume, and I don't see that happening until we have earnings, right? So that's my commentary for space. But you can hold it long. It's a great company. Does that help? Yeah. Net. Okay, net. Let's look at net real quick. Net is, oh, sorry. Besides net is, okay, net's going to go to 60. Net, I'll just swing into 60. This is one of my favorite growth stocks, right? Reversals. This one has earnings a little bit later though. So you can focus on this one into same area. March, get the monthlies, and you could just swing into 60 to 65. Look at the 13-point move, right? 13, 60 to 65, exactly. I already have this like remembered. 60, right? But then if you go into March, 60, like, see here, March 8th, into a little bit higher, 60, 65, that area. Because these are all earnings lines. Every time earnings happens, then it breaks out, and it is possible to jump into the next channel for longer. So if you want September, you could go for 80 if you want 60 for near term. But NXPI is actually going to be reporting first. This is a great one because it's tomorrow. Let's go for the one that's tomorrow. NXPI. Okay, NXPI. 11 points, right? For this price, it's not bad. 11 points. And look, it's all green already. So they're already betting green into the 200 range for tomorrow, right? I mean, for this week. And all this is red. So as long as you see this green, like, is it all green? Yeah, it's still green. So an easy way to do this, if you're doing this alone, use this week's expected move and give yourself like a monthly. Give yourself like a couple weeks and use this move. And then you're like, okay, 190, right? 190, 190, 250. Then you're going to like only pay like $2-3. And then even if you're wrong or whatever, like you have some cushion, or you keep using that same near that expected move and you give yourself like a month up. Like go a little bit higher, so like 195, right? Then you're paying like $4, and then you could just keep swinging this. But then it's going to be less risk, unless your direction is completely wrong. I'll tell you where this is going now. This can go as high as here, 197.50. This could possibly move a lot. So let's play this one tomorrow. I like this one. 190, 192, 197. It's really cheap. 192.50. Yeah, this is really cheap. Look, if it gets in the money, you get like a 4x, right? 160 to 640. That's pretty big. So this is, I know, don't gamble at home, but I'm going to gamble on this. Sorry. Okay, let's make sure we make money though. Okay, peace out. No, just kidding. Any questions? We're good? Yay, we're going to make a lot of money this week? Yes? SPY range. What's tomorrow's range? SPY. No questions? Okay, I'll just give you the range. This is 150. Is it moving? 405, 404. Okay, like this area, 400. It's already like so heavy. And then here, right? 410. Just bet into the 400 or 410. If it goes up, 410. If it goes down, 400. But don't do it for the same day. Do it going into FOMC date because it's going to continue into whichever date where the catalyst is my opinion. But yeah, that's it. Yes? Good? Mike? Okay, Michael left. Natalie, anything? No? Okay, I think that's it. Thank you guys for joining and have a happy trading week.